To the other big story today, new signs of a communications breakdown inside the Obama administration during the hours of the Benghazi terror attack. Here's what we can tell you. Emails that were shared with Fox News suggest that top counterterrorism officials felt cut out of the loop on the night of those 4 murders. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is live at the penthouse. Jennifer, good morning to you. What's the latest here?
The penthouse known as the Pentagon, Martha. Senior counterterrorism officials felt cut out of the loop the night of the attack on the Benghazi consulate, according to emails that were shared with Fox News by military sources who are familiar with the discussions of how to respond the night of the September 11th attack. Top State Department officials decided not to send an interagency rapid response unit designed to respond to terrorist attacks known as a FEST team, a foreign emergency support. This team from the State Department and CIA has a military Joint Special Operations Command element to it and has been routinely deployed to assist in investigations, for instance, after the USS Cole bombing and the bombings at the U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. That team, these counterterrorism officials argue, could have helped the FBI gain access to the site in Benghazi faster than the 24 days that it eventually needed. The State Department says a FEST team wouldn't have done any good. National Security spokesman Tommy Vietor gave this explanation, quote, "The most senior people in government worked on this issue from the minute it happened. That includes the Secretary of Defense, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Secretary of State, National Security Advisor, etc." Fox News has learned that U.S. military intelligence was reporting as early as 7 p.m. Eastern, less than 4 hours after the attack began, that Ansar al-Sharia carried out the attack. The intelligence was relayed to the military with no caveats, according to a source familiar with the intelligence. Further, 2 State Department cables show that Stevens' team warned Washington that at 6:43 a.m. in the morning, they had concerns that members of the Libyan police sent to guard them were photographing the compound. Quote, "This person was photographing the inside of the U.S. Special Mission, and furthermore, this person was part of the police unit sent to protect the mission." U.S. intelligence officials confirmed to Fox that, in fact, there were reports from the ground in Benghazi 3 hours before the attack on the consulate that a Libyan militia was gathering weapons and gathering steam. That was 3 hours before the consulate was attacked at 9:47 p.m. on September 11th.
Boy, there's just so much coming out in all of this, and in large part thanks to you, Jennifer. Has the White House said why that sort of joint counterterrorism effort known as FEST was not deployed, since it has been deployed in similar situations before?
The White House has not. The State Department has given an explanation that FEST is normally used when an embassy communications is compromised and to reestablish communications as they needed to do on the ground after the embassy attacks in Africa. And they say because the embassy in Tripoli was not compromised, they still had a working embassy. They didn't feel that they needed the FEST team. So that the State Department says that the FEST team would not have helped the night of the attack. But what officials that I've spoken to who are familiar with how FEST teams work say is that they really would have been helpful in the days after, helping the FBI get on the ground and get access to the consulate where there were still documents lying around, et cetera. It took them 24 days to get there.
And that report that someone who was supposed to be helping them was photographing the consulate is also very unnerving, because it appeared in the early reports that we got on all of this that they seemed to know quite a bit about where everybody was, including, the consulate and also that other annex. And it raises a lot of questions about whether or not there was an inside job element to all of this. Right, Jennifer?
Well, that's right. And the other interesting thing that has come out from the CIA timeline that was provided yesterday to reporters, Fox was not invited to that briefing, but the CIA timeline suggests that the quick reaction force that came from Tripoli, which was made up of a CIA element, got delayed at the airport for 3 hours and 15 minutes while they were waiting for a Libyan escort and for vehicles and weapons. That was a crucial number of hours that team could have helped the team at the CIA annex.
Yeah, and I believe Glenn Doherty was part of that team. Jennifer, thank you very much.
Fox's Well, some new information today on the deadly terror attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Fox News obtaining some new emails that show as the attack unfolded, the State Department decided not to send a rapid response counterterror unit, and that top counterterrorism officials felt cut out of the loop on the night of the assault. All this being the besieged Americans to fend for themselves. At least that's the picture we're starting to get. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is live in Washington with more. Catherine?
Well, Jenna, good morning and thank you. Based on Fox's reporting, the State Department decided not to send a specialized team to Benghazi known as a FEST team, a foreign emergency support team. These teams have been deployed in the past to assist in the event of a major terrorist attack, such as the bombing of the USS Cole in Yemen in 2000 and the East Africa embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania in 1998. A senior U.S. intelligence official who briefed reporters on the CIA's response to the attack insists the agency responded to the consulate within 30 minutes and there was, quote, no hesitation to act that evening. A review of a secret diplomatic cable by Fox News shows that on August 16th, a month before the attack, the consulate and CIA leadership in Benghazi agreed to work hand in glove as security on the ground deteriorated. The, quote, mission personnel could co-locate to the annex, the CIA outpost, if the security environment degraded suddenly. There was agreement to form a weekly meeting to discuss the security environment. And now there's a growing call from Republicans on Capitol Hill for answers from President Obama on the decisions he made during the Libyan crisis. The president has been very public in his involvement in the most recent crisis, Hurricane Sandy.
You've got photographs of the president and others in the Situation Room during the takedown of Osama bin Laden. You have photographs that came out as a result of their observations relative to the enormous disaster on the East Coast just this week. No picture in the Situation Room during the unfolding events in Libya.
Fox News has requested these photos from the Situation Room from the White House, and so far there has been no formal response. And within the last few minutes, Greta Van Susteren has reported that the FBI is now on the ground in Tunisia to question the only known suspect in custody. And significantly, this comes after the intervention of Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who wrote to the Tunisian government questioning why there was this lack of access to that suspect, Jenna.
Senator Graham spoke with John yesterday and mentioned his frustration with that, so that'll be interesting to watch that side of the story.
Just one point on that. This really begs the question that if a senator could intervene with the Tunisian government 6 weeks after the attack and at least a week after the suspect was in custody, why was it that apparently the White House or the Justice Department didn't take the same course of action?
It sounds like a good question, and John's going to be